Deep in the Louisiana bayou, legends are born where danger hides beneath every ripple. And among those legends stood one woman who wasn't afraid of anything, Liz Cavalier, the Gator Queen. With a rifle on her shoulder and grit in her blood, she turned the swamp into her kingdom, silencing critics and captivating millions on national TV. But fame has sharp teeth, and behind the spotlight was a woman carrying battles few ever knew. How does someone rise to fame, dominate reality TV, then vanish almost overnight? This is the untold story of Liz Cavalier, the Queen of the Swamp. Elizabeth Dupré, born January 21, 1970, came into the world in Pierre Part, Louisiana, where swamp water might as well have run through her veins. Growing up surrounded by cypress trees and bayou fog, Liz's childhood was anything but ordinary. Her father, C.J. Dupré, introduced her to the swamp long before most kids even learned to ride a bike. At just 12 years old, she earned her first alligator line, a rite of passage her father only granted when he believed she was ready. Their bond was more than father and daughter. It was mentor and prodigy. CJ taught her patience, precision, and above all, respect for the dangerous beasts she hunted. Every ripple on the water became a lesson, every dawn a new chance to prove herself. To outsiders, she was just a little girl learning to steer a boat. But to CJ, Liz was destined to carry forward a legacy built on toughness and tradition. In a world dominated by men, she was already carving her own path. She didn't just belong to the swamp, she was part of it. Transition. But childhood lessons were only the beginning. The world was about to meet the Gator Queen. When History Channel's Swamp People debuted, it pulled millions into Louisiana's wild world of gator hunting. By season 2, Liz Cavalier was front and center, joining Troy Landry's crew as his shooter. The moment she stepped on screen, she became magnetic. Fans weren't just watching a hunter, they were watching a force of nature. With every shot, every witty remark, Liz cemented herself as a fan favorite. She wasn't just tough, she was sharp, quick, and loyal, a perfect balance of grit and heart. Before long, viewers crowned her with a new title, the Gator Queen. Yet it wasn't just her skills that caught attention. Her presence challenged stereotypes. In a world where women hunters were rare, Liz stood tall, silencing every critic with action. By season 3, she had her own boat, proving she wasn't just Troy's sidekick, she was a leader. When her daughter Jessica joined the cast, fans embraced her as the Gator Princess. Together, they were unstoppable. Liz Cavalier had officially risen from bayou hunter to reality TV icon, carrying her family legacy onto a national stage. Transition. But fame always comes with a price. And behind the cameras, storms were already brewing. With success came expectations. Liz wasn't just hunting gators anymore. She was representing a brand, juggling appearances, interviews, and public events. What had started as real swamp hunts began to feel like staged acts for promos. Reportedly earning $10,000 per episode, her net worth grew, but so did frustrations. Whispers spread that veteran hunters felt underpaid compared to newer faces. Producers began tightening storylines, pushing for drama instead of authenticity. For Liz, who valued honesty and tradition, the shift was hard to stomach. Behind the scenes, tensions rose as the show became more about ratings than reality. Her independence, once admired, began clashing with producers' expectations. And while her fans saw her as unshakable, Liz was feeling the weight of an image she was expected to maintain, the fearless Gator Queen, even when life off camera was far more complicated. Fame had opened doors, but it also built walls around her. Transition. And just when Liz was wrestling with fame, life delivered a heartbreak she couldn't escape. In 2013, Liz's world changed forever. Her father, C.J. Dupré, the man who taught her everything, passed away. To viewers, he was often just a name she mentioned, but to Liz, he was everything. Her guide, her mentor, her anchor. His absence left a hole the cameras could never capture. Though she continued filming, something in her had shifted. She dedicated hunts to him, planted trees in his memory, and carried on with a quiet determination. Fans noticed the difference. She was still fierce, still commanding on screen, but her eyes carried a weight they hadn't before. Grief became her silent companion. For someone raised in the swamp, strength was second nature, but strength doesn't erase pain. And while she stood tall for the world, behind closed doors, Liz struggled with the kind of loss that reshapes a person. The Gator Queen was still on the water, but the rhythm of her life had changed. Transition. And if losing her father wasn't enough, the next blow came from the very show that made her a star. By 2015, fans were blindsided. Season 6 of Swamp People ended, and Liz Cavalier, along with her daughter Jessica, was suddenly gone. No warning, no explanation, just cut from the cast. For viewers, it felt unthinkable. Liz wasn't just another face. She was the soul of the swamp. Outrage erupted online. Fans flooded comment sections demanding answers, many blaming the producers for disrespecting the very people who built the show's success. Rumors swirled, contract disputes, pay disagreements, creative clashes. Liz herself spoke up on social media, voicing her disappointment and making it clear the decision wasn't hers. Her honesty struck a chord. Fans rallied harder, praising her courage to speak out. But while her followers kept her spirit alive, the reality was harsh. Losing the show meant losing steady income, national visibility, and a huge part of her identity. For someone who had given so much to the swamp and to her fans, the silence from producers cut deep. Transition, and stepping out of the spotlight led Liz into one of the hardest chapters of her life. Life after Swamp People wasn't glamorous. With the cameras gone, Liz faced a different kind of fight. The loss of steady income forced her family to adjust, downsizing, restructuring, and finding new ways to survive. But the financial strain was only part of the struggle. For years, she had been the Gator Queen to millions. Without that role, she wrestled with identity and depression. Friends noticed she grew quieter, withdrawing from social gatherings. Social media, once her outlet, became sporadic. Posts were fewer, captions more fragile. Even her brief return in season 12 felt different. Fans noticed the caution in her smile, the guarded energy. The spotlight had left scars. And while some viewers pushed for her comeback, Liz seemed more focused on healing than fame. Behind the strength she always carried, she was fighting battles no one saw. Battles against grief, anxiety, and the heavy silence that follows when the applause stops. Transition. Yet even away from the cameras, Liz's story didn't end. Her legacy only grew stronger. Though her time on Swamp People ended, Liz Cavalier's influence never faded. In 2015, she released a Cajun cookbook, a heartfelt tribute to the swamp, its traditions, and the food that shaped her family. She became a guest speaker at schools, teaching kids about sustainability and Cajun culture. At fundraisers, she championed bayou preservation, proving her loyalty to the land went far beyond television. Merchandise with her image, t-shirts, caps, posters, continued selling out. More importantly, her presence inspired change. Statistics show more women now hold alligator hunting licenses in Louisiana, many citing Liz as their role model. She shattered stereotypes, proving women could not only hunt, but thrive in the harshest of environments. Her legacy wasn't built on fame, it was built on grit, family, and authenticity. Even in her quiet life, Liz remained the heartbeat of the swamp. Transition, which leaves us with one final question. Where is the Gator Queen today? Today, Liz Cavalier lives away from the constant glare of TV cameras. She spends her days closer to the swamp, with family, Cajun cooking, and the traditions she's always held dear. Her social media posts, though rare, give fans glimpses. Dawn breaking over bayou waters, family meals steeped in heritage, quiet smiles that speak louder than words. She no longer chases the spotlight because she doesn't need to. Her story is written in every gator hunt she led, every tradition she preserved, and every barrier she broke for women in the swamp. To her fans, Liz remains more than a former reality star. She's a symbol of resilience. Her silence today isn't an ending, but a reminder that real legacies aren't built in front of cameras. They're built in the quiet, in the roots of family, in traditions passed down, and in the courage to face storms no one else can see. The Gator Queen may not be on TV, but her spirit lives on, in the bayou, in the hunters she inspired, and in the legacy of a woman who refused to be defined by anyone but herself. If you enjoyed this story and want more untold truths about the legends you love, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Join our community so you never miss the next deep dive, because the next story might just shock you even more.